everybody. Welcome to Sonic Talk, episode 860, recording today on the 10th of September, 2025. Big day. We've just, if you're watching the pre-show, you'll have heard all our excitement about a new release, which has just made it into the last minute topics. We've all taken a breath and we'll all get onto it. Before I introduce the guests, I'm just going to add a little bit more buffer zone so we can all calm down a bit, and then we can launch. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say thanks to everybody in the chat. Lovely to see you all there. Very pleased to see you. Nice to see Nick Howes, Jack, Electronic Conductress, Wagyu, of course, doing the excellent moderating and many other things. Rapscallion. Anyway, a whole bunch of different people. Nice to see you. Lovely to have you here. I'm just going to let you know what's coming up. We have, don't forget you can win. I think I could do this if I do that. You can win UVI Sonic Bundle worth €799. Yeah, that's currently available. The link should have gone in the show notes. That's open until the 26th, so do sign up for that if you're interested. That's all UVI's excellent. I mean, where's their flagship thing? It's everything. 116 synths and effects and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, thanks very much to them for helping us celebrate our 30th anniversary, which is this year. So stay tuned for the rest of the month, rest of the year. In fact, we're going to be pushing out lots of little competitions and things to celebrate that. I also want to say, and also check out our Patreon. I'm very pleased because I've just posted a really good set of Artemis samples, which I think they sound fantastic. I might play it a bit later on. If you're watching the pre-show, you might have seen it. But I'll play an ad for the Patreon now anyway. There are so many great reasons to join our Patreon. Ad-free versions of our reviews and other videos, plus exclusive content like extra review footage and hidden gems from an extensive archive. Get early access to selected videos, enjoy the Sonic Talk pre-show banter, and there's a growing library of sample instruments and impulse responses to choose from. You'll also get access to our Discord server and a private monthly hangout with the team. So head over to patreon.com/Sonicstate to see the latest offers and explore our ever-expanding collection of Patreon-only content and help keep what we do independent. See you there. Indeed. And gosh, it's been a roller coaster today. Literally this morning, there were no guests. Now we've got a great panel and loads of stuff to talk about. It's like there's been a sort of a switch. Somebody's kind of tapped the barrel of news and it's, frothing out everywhere. There's just news coming from all sides, which is excellent. And we'll get onto that shortly. And once we've introduced our guests, I think I'll save, let's go. Let's start with Paulee. Paulee Bowes there at Birmingham. Paulee, of course, vintage digital specialist, writes a lot of articles for Sonic, and does some videos. In fact, you got the Korg Nautilus 5 minutes coming up fairly soon. Hoping to get that out there soon. How are you? You got a gig coming up soon as well, haven't you?
Yes, so I've been really in, kind of doing mode. Obviously, we've all got things we've got to do in life as well. Like my eldest just had his 3rd birthday, so that was nice yesterday. We went to National Trust. It was lovely. But I've been heavily into the Korg Nautilus and specifically an engine called Mod 7, which is like a 6-operator FM synth essentially, but with some really weird tricks that it does that none of the Yamahas did. So that video is going to come out soon, and you'll get to hear all my sort of this week. Get to hear all my sort of weird, distressed Korg Nautilus sounds. And then the other thing is, I'm getting ready for my performance in London on the 22nd at Rich Mix Studios. Which is going to be kind of an audio-visual performance where I talk about, everything, basically. I go from the start of my life, everything. Go from the start of my life, up to right now, basically. How long have you got? In music, half an hour, so it's a bit of a condensed musical, I've had to cut out the tap dancing number. Yeah. And the bit where the magician saws the lady in half was a bit too long, so I had to axe that too. But the rest of it's good. So come and see me for free in London on the 22nd of September.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to that. I think tickets are in short demand, so I think you still have to book a slot. So anyway, we'll find links to that. We've also got Robin Vincent, Mr. Molten Music Tech, who's there in a fabulous shirt as ever. In
amazing.
The shed of synth. How are you, Robin? Are you good?
I'm good. I'm busy, hardworking, all those sorts of things. I'm grateful that it's the end of the summer, in as much as a certain calm has descended upon my homestead, which is nice as kids have
kids have gone
ferreted
back to school.
off
Is what you're trying to say.
back to school, exactly. So that's nice. Although I've got one who's knocking around. He's finished school now, and he doesn't quite want to go to university yet. So he's just knocking around. What am I supposed to do with that? He's just
Get him
there.
to work. Get him up the chimney.
Get him down the mine.
Lovely to see you, Robin. And I'm sure you've got lots of stuff, as I have. It's going to be a busy month, isn't it? There seems to be more synths. There's more synths and things coming. It's kind of quite exciting. So, anyway. And Bristronica, of course, at the end of the month, which I'm sure we'll see a bunch of you at. I know we will certainly see. Well, our next guest. How's that for a segue? That's pretty good. And I got a tease in at the beginning of the show as well, which I never do. Gaz Williams, who's there, bass player, label owner, modular performer, all of those things. How you do, Gaz? You doing well?
Yeah, I'm on cloud nine. I've just got back from Rotterdam from the Dutch Modular Fest, which was a phenomenal event, and was the kind of public debut of the Mutable Challenge. So that's my all mutable instruments rig, which some of you may have seen. So if you haven't, check out my YouTube channel. This is something that I've been putting together slightly secretly for the last 2 years, and it's the complete collection of mutable instruments which just conveniently fit into 2 Arturia rack brute cases. I mean, that's Mark II's. You know, you can be a bit pedantic about it, but it is essentially all of them are there, and the challenge involves putting essentially the same set of modules in front of lots of different people, and they get an hour to see what they can come up with, and it's kind of nothing more than that. And in itself, that's not an amazing idea, but actually it's really phenomenal seeing just what people do. And so it featured quite prominently in the Modular Fest in Rotterdam. And we had 4 different performers. Well, actually 5, because Alet, who's one of the organisers, took the challenge at the end in an unofficial capacity. But through the day, we had Jongerson, August Buyukberger, Mandy Baker, and Paul Voss from Error Instruments. And each one took it in really interesting directions, all very seasoned modularists. So, I've already filmed a load of them as well with some quite well-known people, well-known to us. So this little mutable challenge is going to be an ongoing thing. And the point of it really is to celebrate this incredible company, the incredible things that they brought to the world, and the continuing legacy through all the open source. It feels like just this incredible gift, I think. It's like an amazing gift. Wow.
Definitely.
Nice.
And they're finding, the code and also the schematics of the hardware, all open source, are finding their ways into just like an endless amount of new things coming out. So it's like facilitating new and brilliant things. And of course, clones are are being made of virtually all of them. I think it's only Beads. Beads is the only non-open source one. But all of the others are all existing, So just to celebrate that really has been the point of this. And at the Dutch Modular Fest, it was brilliant because a lot of people felt that was a sentiment that they wanted to share and echoed.
Yes.
And the positivity that I had back for actually doing this thing was just, it's amazing. So you can see why I'm Mr. Happy, and the weather was beautiful. Rotterdam, amazing, and the organisation. Thank you.
Are you going to release any of this stuff? Is any of these things going to end up on Rack Records?
That's not. It's more of a YouTube kind of idea.
Okay. Fair enough.
It might. Rack Records do have a very specific brief about it being conversational. It's a 2-person conversation.
All right, gotcha.
It's the fundament of Rack Records. And speaking of which, we've got our event on the 25th of September in the Cube Cinema in Bristol. Now, this is following. You came, Nick, to the original Rack event. Robin was one of the performers. Well, we're doing it again with 8 performers. And everyone's drawn at random, so no one knows who they're going to perform with. And they initially play in a pair. One person leaves, one person stays on, someone else joins, and everyone gets to play for half an hour, 15 minutes with 2 different people. Robin was brilliant. Who did you play with, Robin? You played with who did you?
I played with. Oh, I see. I played with the Techno Ben? Queen from Transistor Sisters.
Ah, okay.
Nina,
that's
Nina,
right. Nina.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Well, I'm hoping to get over for that, definitely, because...
Right. Well, the thing about that, though, is this time all of the performers are makers, or in some cases, like the front person of the company. So seeing how these people are going to be, using their own inventions is going to be fantastic. And some of the people, our Richard Nicol himself is taking part, which
he mentioned it. Yep.
Which is a thrill. So it's been mentioned, has it, on the show?
Well, yeah, he was on last week, and we talked about it then. But I mean, I'm hoping to get over for a little bit. I've got a client in on that Thursday, so I'm going to try and get over.
I just have to say, there are only 7 tickets left. So if anyone is interested in coming, but I mean, Nick, I think we've got one reserved for you anyway. But it's just. If anyone else is interested, there are
almost no point in plugging it at all.
To be honest, I'm plugging it. I'm plugging it I'm plugging it just because I think in all the time I've been doing anything like this, I've never seen anything that's so interactive with the manufacturers in the musical context.
You're right. You're right.
So, fair enough.
For that, it feels like it's a mini historic event in our lovely world, in our wonderful community. It is an immense community. I'm so proud to be part of. Anyway, right, there we go.
Right, God, and there's so much news. How are we going to get through everything? I just don't know. Okay, well, we could start. I'm going to start at number 1 just because. Well, why ever not? Actually, should I? Yeah, what the hell? I'm going to go in with number 1. This is, guess what it is? It's a new audio interface. It's not the Zoom L6 Max, but we will hopefully get to talk about that a little bit.
Another amazing
in the meantime,
audio interface from MOTU.
Look at this.
Today we are checking out the 848, the latest audio
Sweetwater
interface
video.
from MOTU.
Good old Mitch Gallagher.
This joins the 16A and the 828 in their refreshed line of studio interfaces. These are fantastic interfaces that share a lot of attributes, but there are some differences as well that we'll be getting into. Now I'm going to give you an overview of the 848 today for a really deep dive, especially of the software that goes with this, QMix.
Yeah, okay, I probably should have edited that down, but I feel, anyway, to check Mitch's video, it's the only one that's online, actually, so, I guess Sweetwater would get it. 848, 60 I/O, with EQ, dynamics, and effects on board, 2 ADAT interfaces, Thunderbolt 4, or Thunderbolt 5, USB 4 interfaces, networking, so you've got AVB, uses ESS Sabre 32 DACs, 125 dB dynamic range, can run standalone, with all the DSP. This is the thing that I found really interesting. So effectively, you can run it as a digital mixer, although you can't control it without it being connected to. So you could have a sort of static mix. I guess you could probably use some MIDI, maybe, if you can map MIDI to some of those parameters. DC coupled outputs. 14, so it's a premium one, but it just looks like a real monster in terms of what is available. But the thing that made this kind of interesting to me was this notion of standalone. So you can effectively program a complex 60 I/O mix and have it run or record. I don't think it's got the ability to record to USB, which I think is a little bit of a shame considering that's a sort of trend. But I guess there's only so much you could do. But quite an interesting thing. Anybody? MOTU used to be the bees, MOTU were the ones, back in the Firewire days. I don't know whether they've been usurped a little bit now, but this is kind of interesting. I know, Robin, what do you think? Are you a MOTU guy? Have you been a MOTU?
Yeah, no, definitely. They've been reliable for decades. It's the sort of interface you can plug in and have no problems with. I've got just a little M4 and an M2 knocking around somewhere that I use whenever I bring a laptop out. Whether you plug it in, it works. You've got no no wondering about it. It's just going to be there and do its job. And I've used them for, as I say, since Carolon days back at Turnkey. Would use MOTU interfaces, Firewire, and so forth, going forth. USB 4, did somebody say? I didn't even know we were on that yet. But no, apparently we are USB 4.
Apparently so.
And I think you can also control the whole thing from an iPad, can't you? So like a Soundcraft mixer or something like that. So you could do the whole thing as a digital mixer.
Yes, I was mistaken. You can
about.
actually, because it's got network, you can connect to a network and you can control it via network standalone. So I do apologise. I was perhaps a bit hasty there, but yeah, it looks quite interesting.
But otherwise, lots of ins, lots of outs. It's not. It doesn't. I'm not blown away particularly, but it is another good, solid audio interface from MOTU. You can't go far wrong, really.
Yeah, as Rich Hilton would say, lots of gazintas and gazouters, Paulie. But yeah, I mean, the multi-channel audio interface, great for sort of installations where you just want to plug everything in, I guess. And
was
just
it
have it all...
40 gigabytes a second that it can do over Thunderbolt?
Yeah, I would think so, at least. With Thunderbolt 5.
And the other thing I read was you could use just standard Ethernet cables and route 128 tracks to another unit, which is...
just in case.
If 60 isn't enough, then, and you really don't want to mix down anything, then, I wonder if any of our younger viewers will know. Do we have any younger viewers? Maybe we do. If they know what MOTU stands for, and it is Mark of the Unicorn.
Is that an original?
It's an original parallel port. Mark of the Unicorn MIDI flyer. 32 channels, 4 little MIDI ports.
They got them in Aldi. They've got them in the middle row of Aldi at the moment.
Check out the
really. That's amazing. And it looks like a cowbell randomly.
Doesn't it? I bet
if it broke, you could just use it
as a cowbell. I think maybe, yeah.
Yeah, possibly. I don't want to break a vintage piece of equipment.
No, I can understand. I can understand why you wouldn't.
So this is superseding this is the 848, isn't it? It's superseding the 828 interface.
No, I think there have been others since.
There is an 828. There is a new 828 as well, isn't there? So this is,
is that? Okay.
That refers to the microamps, doesn't it?
Yeah, yep, cool. That makes sense. I think for someone like me, I don't actually really make much use of physical mixing desks. I think when I started to make music, on my DAW at home, it was all just draw in your automation or just use the on-screen stuff. So I think something compact like that, if it's got good, control, is going to be absolutely amazing with the connectivity. And it's something I've been thinking about a while. Could I have, especially when I move into my new studio, could I have more things ready to go straight away? Because I've got, a range of stuff ready to go straight away, but I don't have everything connected up to quickly. So I'm thinking something like this.
You'd need ADAT expansion, and it hasn't got 60
of course
built into the unit. You'd have to use all of that stuff.
No, it's got. I can't remember how many analog it's got, but yeah, I know what you mean. You'd have to go ADAT, but yeah, it looks really impressive, basically. And the DC coupled outputs for, I guess you can control modular stuff with that.
Yeah, always
handy.
Which would be awesome. Just draw it in your DAW and then send it out.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, I think, if I remember, was it MOTU or was it Cakewalk? Somebody did one of the first kind of CV control units. I remember it was extremely expensive piece of software. I think it might have been Cakewalk. I can't remember now. And it allowed you to kind of modulate things and map things, but it was a massive CPU hog. And of course, having that many live inputs and outputs on a machine, previous generations of computer would struggle to kind of continually poll 60 IO or more if you've got all the AV. Now we can probably do all of that, can't we, Gaz? I mean, it's not really so much of a problem, is it? And at pretty low latency. I think they quote 1.8 milliseconds from in to out via Thunderbolt, which is astonishing.
Yeah, and I've been a MOTU. it's not my current interface, but has been for many, many years, 10 plus years, and loads of pro work. And I always I had the Traveller as my main thing, and I always wanted something that this is just the most incredible audio interface, isn't it? I mean, in terms of
big studio interface, yeah.
In terms of like the as a box ticker, this one has kind of got it all, really. I think, maybe with the exception of hands-on control, but iPads. God, I've got a surplus of old iPads here, so
yes.
It's always so interesting to me how you've got two pairs of ADAT in and outs on this as well, and I kind of always find it slightly strange how ADAT hasn't really been superseded with anything.
Well, it's got AVB as well. I mean,
yeah, but AVB still is. No, you're right. But I mean, do you get like I suppose MOTU do, don't they? They make devices with AVB.
But I suppose the thing is the only option at the moment, the one that is taking, is Dante or Maddy, and those are very pro level interfaces, and they will cost a lot of stuff to interface between, and you have to pay probably quite a hefty license to include that stuff in your hardware.
I'm glad though as well. I mean, I'm glad that it's still there, just because there is such a lot of great stuff that have got ADAT interfaces on that kind of it keeps them relevant. It keeps. I'm thinking about some of my preamps, Focusrite ones and stuff, which have got ADAT on. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm excited about this. Kind of. I've got a great one here, so I'm not looking for one. But I mean, if I was, I would think this might be the choice. I think. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, fair enough. I can't say fairer than that. It's $14.99 UK. I'm guessing it's going to be a similar amount in the US. I don't know. It's kind of hard to kind of figure out how the pricing and stuff works. They are a US company. Big shout out to Jim Cooper, who, as long as I can remember, has been the only point of contact at MOTU and kind of the only guy on all the booths at all the trade shows. And he's the guy who sends out the mail list. And he seems to have single-handedly masterminded at least the public facing of that company. I mean, astonishing. He's a great guy, very very calm, safe pair of hands. So anyway, all right, I'm just going to take a quick break and we'll be back after this message.
Welcome to Ozone 12, your complete mastering suite. Trusted by producers and engineers for over 20 years, Ozone now features an overhauled assistant that puts you in full control. The latest mastering tech provides louder, clearer tracks and 3 brand new additions to its 20 plugin toolkit. Fix the unfixable with STEM EQ. Lock in your low end in any listening environment with bass control, and magically revive overcompressed audio with Unlimiter. Whether you're working on your first release or the next #1 hit, Ozone 12 gives you the control, power and speed to realise your creative vision and bring your tracks to life. Download a free trial or upgrade today to experience the full toolkit for yourself. Available now at iZotope.com.
And we'd like to thank iZotope for sponsoring Sonic Talk. Now back to the show. Yeah, interesting. I mean, that's a big release. I should also say, so they sent me, I made that edit. This is just an aside. And they sent me an edit that said, oh, can you use this instead? And I looked at it and I'd done exactly the same as they'd done themselves. It was really bizarre. So I didn't bother replacing it because it was just exactly the same. Great minds obviously think alike. Anyway, okay, gosh, there's so many things to talk about now. I mean, it's well, should we do something about
terrain?
I don't know what to terrain. All right, let's do terrain.
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, let me find that. So that is that one. Yeah. Okay, go. So yeah, Conductive Labs, who you may know from such popular hits as the Noodler and MRCC, have introduce a synthesizer, which is this interesting terrain-based synthesis, which I think uses kind of maps, images of topography or three-dimensional space, which we're starting to see a lot more. There's some reverbs that do the same thing, and the nodes move around that to create these sort of evolving waveforms. It reminds me a little bit of the Madrone. I can't remember. I always forget the one that I didn't like and everybody else did. But 32 voices. This one's going to have. It's got 32 voices. You can load your own. It sits off of 17 maths-based terrains with infinite resolutions and dozens of image-based terrains right out of the box. Or you can load your own images and wavetables via JPEG, PNG, and WAV into the hardware. It's a really interesting idea. Gaz, you were keen on this one. What is it that thrills you so much about it?
Well, I was fortunate. I'm thrilled that we can talk about it because Steve gave me like a 2-hour sort of FaceTime deep dive into it a few weeks back, and I was pretty speechless. Something I think that is phenomenal with this is the way that you can the way that the visual representation of it works, and how you can manipulate that. So it's got like a kind of point of view button that will take you into this specific thing to do with how you're actually viewing it. And I think this is, I know that doesn't sound necessarily such an amazing thing, but it really does in that you can customize exactly how it looks. And that makes sense when you start dealing with this kind of abstract thing. You've got, if you think about like a waveform, think of a wavetable and how you can move across a wavetable. Well, if that's like a 3-dimensional wavetable, and the way you
like
can
an
move
FFT
across,
almost, yeah.
Yeah, but but with it being, you can bring your own images in. There's loads of images. I think one of the things, it's actually in that video that's really worth watching, is that he was curious about this idea. Had it been done before? And in his research, Steve, this is from Conductive Labs, he'd found, I think there was a paper published in 1979, and there was a terrain that was kind of created, and it's great. He's actually featured that original terrain as one of the terrains in the a preset, and it's really blocky. It's a 16 by 16 kind of grid, but he's also created like a kind of interpolated smooth version of it as well. But I just thought it was a really nice nod to, I think is it Steve Bell? No, not Steve Bell. I can't remember the name.
I can't remember that. Yeah,
the creator of that. Yeah. I suppose where this is interesting is that, as a synthesis form, it's so dependent on these terrains, hence its name, the terrain synth. I think getting that interface, both visually and control interface, right, I think that's the key to making this a really interesting synthesizer. Because, as I say, when you manipulate the image that you're looking at, and you can see how the waveform is being created, and hear how the terrain is affecting the waveform, and then being able to sort of navigate across the kind of the peaks and the troughs and the mountains and the valleys of these terrains, and having this amazing ability to sort of it's definitely like kind of computer game kind of vibe to it as well.
Yeah.
I wonder what the optimal terrain is to kind of, if you're looking for something that sounds a bit like a wavetable of a certain type, whether there's an optimal terrain type, or whether it's, I guess it must be, yeah.
It's got all of the kind of traditional waveforms in it, and so when you start to sort of extrude that into 3D, it's really fascinating because you can relate. He gave me a demonstration of a square wave, and you can hear it as a square wave. But then as you start to sort of move that into this kind of 3-dimensional realm, it's really, really interesting, because I think it's the sound, because you can relate to it with the square wave, and then you can hear how that then moves, and I think it really, really kind of engages the ear. Were you Were you talking about the vector synth earlier? Is that the one you were thinking of?
Yes, I think because I noticed noticed that sort of double helix kind of thing.
Yeah,
and the way that each voice kind of journeys around a path. So some similarities to that.
There are some similarities, and again that's a really interesting synth, that vector one, because again the way the connection between what you're seeing and what you're hearing, and then being able to meaningfully interact with it. I think that's the key. That's the key with both that and this. That you could maybe think of it as like as a novelty, but almost instantly, as soon as you hear it and see it working, it's not a novelty at all. It makes a lot of sense. I'm guessing that this kind of thing, we've had to kind of wait for the CPU to be powerful enough to
since 1979. Sort of bizarre. Paulie, you must be thrilled about this, because it's essentially you've got a lineage from 1979 digital technology where computers weren't powerful enough, and now we've got this new terrain-based thing. There you go. It's like a digital love story almost.
I think it's absolutely brilliant that original terrain has been put in, because when I saw the video, and it reminded me of a computer game from the 80s which was called The Sentinel, and it was by a guy called Jeff Crammond, and you were in this like quite blocky terrain, and you had this scanning sentinel up in the sky that you had to kind of avoid and then overtake. I was like, they've put that in a synth, basically, is what my reaction was. And I thought, wow, it's going to be really fun. It's got a really nice, classy colour scheme. It kind of reminds me of the Waldorf Q, which had a nice of ruby red kind of in its later incarnation. But it excited me enough to kind of, look deep into the parameters, and I found all sorts of good stuff like oscillator sync, phase distortion, mirroring, windowing, unison, and a couple of sub-oscillators. So I guess that proves to me it's probably got it's got a big sound range past just the terrain stuff, if you understand. The terrain's just the starting point, and then you can add phase distortion.
It's like a complex oscillator, isn't it? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a complex oscillator.
So
it has analog processing as well. Yeah. Nice.
And I look forward to seeing it and maybe loading a Pong file into it and seeing what happens.
Some chiptune pictures of 8-bit video games. That would be an interesting idea.
That would be good.
It reminds me a little bit, those conceptual ideas where I think it was actually the iZotope synth, wasn't it? What was the thing where you could load images into it and draw Iris? Sort of similar kind of concept where you could then have the sound source is conceptually linked visually to the sound you're making. So great for media composers who need to talk about the philosophy of their approach to the soundtrack, I suppose.
I can see you looking at me going, what was he going to say about it? I totally missed this entirely. So I have no clue, but I'm fascinated by the idea. But also, what on earth are you talking about with these terrains? Are you taking a 2D image and then somehow pulling 3D models off that? And then is it color or shade that's affecting the height? What's going on here?
You can take like a photograph, and then you could extrude contours out of that by kind of based on things like dark density. I think lighter parts of the picture. Then you can kind of pull out like 3-dimensional images that then you can build, like make waveforms out of.
Before you even start, but that means before you even start using it, you have to kind of think about that, maybe if you want to use those.
I love that kind of stuff.
Oh, fair enough.
Preparing things for things,
it doesn't feel like a low friction creative environment to me. It feels like quite a kind of
there's so much stuff in it though already straight away.
Fair enough.
To actually want to put your own things in there, then you can, but there's so much in there already.
Has he put the face of Mars in yet? Because that'd be cool. You know, the Martian face.
Oh, yeah.
Photograph. That'd be awesome. I bet it'd be
There's going to be
ominous
so
and
many
evil.
memes, though, aren't there? I wonder how long it's going to take before, you know, your face turns up in it, Gaz, or mine, or any of us, you know.
Sure.
Or whatever.
Well, yours would be the first, Nick, because you're the most
maybe.
memeable member of the crew.
Anyway, I don't know how much it is, but it looks like it's kind of, you know, it's got a lot of. This was from NobCon. In fact, I just want to say, because Jim Hayward from Synth Memes, to link it back to him, he went there and he filmed a couple of things for us there. So I'm waiting for the video to show up. So we might have a bit of reportage from the show. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, this looks
nice.
good. I mean, do we know, Gaz? Do you know when and how much? Have you been told any of that information? Because I can't.
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I mean, it's in a very advanced state, so I think it's going to be soon.
All right. Oh, cool. And it was shown at a show, so I imagine.
I think you know they exist. It's not, you know, it's not vape. You know, it's they are. There are a number of them in the world now, so I think it's you know, it's soon. But I mean, what's quite interesting, I think, with Conductive Labs is Conductive Labs is
Conductive, yeah.
Conductive Labs. Well, there's a noodler there. Is that, you know, their first project, and that's a really interesting thing. That's kind of out of the box kind of thinking. And then, of course, the MRCC has sort of taken MIDI interface into just like another level. So there's a real ambition and kind of desire to kind of move things on, I think Conductive Labs have. So, you know, this feels like, those feel like the, you know, just the warm-up act for this, which is kind of clearly their flagship product. But I think it's the sort of thing that in the past, things with those graphic displays, I don't know, this is they've always been a bit tacky or a bit, I'm thinking of like some sort of Roland things, and this is really fast. The interface, the update.
So it must have a bunch of CPU to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, but I mean, just in terms of it, just getting over that. As I mentioned earlier about the novelty thing, very soon you just kind of think, no, this isn't novelty. This is the next step, you know. So fair play. Nice. I think this is one of the most exciting things I've seen in a long time.
Wow.
Well, we should probably move on to another topic because we do have so many to do. I've got to put this one in just because we sort of mentioned memes, and this is a sort of meme. This is the fact that the iPhone 17 Pro, which is obviously big news, which doesn't really relate to us so much, you can now toggle to disable screen flickering, which is PWM. So you can now disable screen PWM on the iPhone 17 Pro, and that's because they use pulse width modulation to dim LEDs. It's a sort of standard process, and I guess for some people, you get that it's a real trigger point for people have it on certain laptops, and I know the Mac laptops didn't have a disable for it, but the PC ones you can get a little widget that will just change that frequency of the PWM, which means if it triggers migraines, which I know it did for Simon Stokes, who came down here to shoot some stuff. He said, I can't sit in front of a screens of a certain type because I'll just get a migraine. It's quite an important thing. But who knew PWM would feature in an Apple headline? There we go.
I tell you what is more important is that their new iPhone Air is even thinner than you could even imagine. Just what, you know, I mean, look how portly my phone is. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's you know, this day and age, look at it. It's like, you know, it's just like you couldn't get down a chimney with that, could you? I mean, that is, you know, so thank goodness for their thin new phones. Just what we've all been asking for.
Yeah, back pocket nightmare. Yeah, as it were. Okay, right. Okay, what does anyone want to go for next? Because there is Robin, is there anything specific you'd like to see us cover? Is there something that's exciting for you? And we can
quite like the Digitwolis, the noise engineering Sigma thingy.
That.
Yes.
Let's do it. Go.
You asked. We listened. Then we went further. This is Mimetic Digitwolis from Noise Engineering. the long-awaited sequel to our Mimetic Digitwolis step sequencer, rebuilt with the features you asked for and more than you expected. The MD2 is a 4-lane performance sequencer where each lane can be anything: pitch, modulation, triggers, gates, even a quantizer for external CV.
Nice. I mean, it's a bit presumptuous to think that it would do anything that I personally may have considered, but yeah, I mean, this is not really my world, but it's very interesting that they've brought this in, and noticing that we're starting to see. I mean, it must be sort of a new source of LCDs and programming that means that there's a bit more UI stuff going into these. This is fascinating. Robin, I guess, do you have some familiarity with the Mark 1? I suppose would be the first question.
No, not really, to be fair, but it was a similar idea, but they had a much simpler, more binary interface where you just got a bunch of LEDs which are sort of flashing at you and confusing you and slowly making your brain smooth. Whereas now you have this little screen which they've managed to stuff in kind of a retro feel to it to feed you with information, which is no bad thing because it can tell you what's going on. You have a much clearer idea. I mean, a question I've always had with them, I mean, first of all, I never asked them anything, so I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. I haven't really been in touch with them in any way. But assuming that there are lots of people out there with specific ideas, it didn't really go into what they are specifically, but what interests me is this idea of a performance sequencer, because it comes up a lot. Almost every sequencer now is a performance sequencer, and it's started to sort of lose its sense of what does that mean? How do I perform with this tiny little module and this little screen and these little bits? I'm not sure, but I think it's in the fact that it has a knob that you can wang in there and record sort of notes on the fly. So that's quite interesting. But then it has this
and control and record CVs as well, by the looks of it.
Record CVs.
Yeah, which is exactly, yes. But then it has this shred button. That's it. I know I'd put it out of the air somewhere. A shred button, which I've seen on a couple of other sequencers recently, which kind of throws in a curated randomness around what it is that's in there. So rather than just nonsense, you get something which is relatively similar to what you've put in, but randomizes around it. So it sort of give you a feel, to give you a to give you a feel, or to give you some other thing going on. Oh,
we get to hear your answer phone message.
I'm sorry about that.
Blah 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 blah.
I don't know what to do with it.
Blah blah blah.
You have to throw it in a bucket of water.
Yeah.
It's gone away.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Gaz, you perform with Modular, right?
Yeah, I am.
What's the trick? Yeah, I mean, I know you use the I've forgotten what it's called.
The Oxy one,
which seems to be everywhere. But does this hold any joy for you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, really good actually. I mean, there's a load of good things about this. I mean, 10 HP, so it's really small. Also, it's packing an awful lot of cool things in that little kind of form factor. I think the fact that you can record CV is super cool, and then turn that CV into notes through, because it's got built-in, so it can quantize that incoming CV.
Or automation, yeah.
Yeah, automation.
Or modulation, I suppose.
No, it's really good. And I mean, there has been a trend in the short time that I've been into Modular, which is just around 5 years now. There's been this trend of these kind of very powerful, very small format modules that are coming out that really are a different level from where Modular used to be. I mean, like the Pamela's Pro workout, for instance, is like a powerhouse, really, in tiny space relatively. And something I covered on my show last night is the Nobular Monumatic. I know, Robin, you're a big fan of that. What a stunning piece of design and amazing sounding thing. Something that's really interesting about that particular thing is how you're using, that really small form factor. You think of things like boutiques, as Roland boutiques or whatever, are small, or these things are really small, and the interface, it becomes super important. In the case of things like the Pamela's Pro workout, or the MCO that they also do, Mark II, which is like a complete voice in 6 HP. They go for the kind of single encoder and a back button kind of thing, so which is obviously very menu-y, but is actually quite speedy as well, because it's, there's this thing of like fluid workflow, and I think that's why they are talking about this noise engineering as a performance one, because you can do things super fast. Now you're going to have to put some time in to get the to get that in your brain about where things are.
Yeah.
We kind of think a little bit. Another powerhouse module, small one, is the Bastel Neo Trinity.
The Neo Trinity. I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, you're dead right. It's bang on for that. I mean, it's all about packing it in and trying to be all things in one module, and you're trying to pull out sequences of that thing. It's quite a challenge once you've packed that much feature into a small space. It becomes quite a challenge to find your way through it. I mean, what I find with the Neo Trinity, the way it goes around a corner, I find that immensely frustrating. So I only ever use 4 channels of it because I can't cope with going around the corner. But
I tell you what I do is I've got it on the edge. I've got it on the edge of my live thing, and my hand just kind of, it wraps around my hand, so it goes around the corner. But my hand, because it's on the right here, it's actually really ergonomic, and so I think the placement of that might make all the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a similar idea though. This Digitwolis is a very, very similar idea. I think the Neo Trinity is the closest thing it's probably to. Although the other thing that occurred to me is that it has MIDI in and out, so you can also suck notes in automation that way, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Pretty good. Paulee, any thoughts on this? I mean, I, one thing I will say, the only problem I have with these kind of small ecosystems where it sort of forces you into learning that for that sake only, and I find I've only got enough room for a couple of those sort of things in my life. I can't have many more than that because I just don't. I can't remember.
I understand. It's like shift click what function again to get here. But it looks cool. I like the MIDI. I like the fact that you can use a fader bank to edit the sequences. And so maybe you could get your notes in one way, just by...
Or playing them in off a MIDI keyboard.
Just playing them in off a MIDI keyboard, or twisting the knob, or doing something else, doing something gestural. And then actually really, carving it out with the faders. And the other thing is, it's got everything. The thing I think is, it's really small, which is great for someone just getting into Eurorack, because it sorts out stuff we used to have to buy separately, like clock dividers, slew limiters, quantizers, all that kind of stuff used to be separate modules. And now this just little thing just does it. So if you've got something, just like I have many 4MS pods, but if you've got if you just buy one 4MS pod to start your journey, or you buy the Nifty case, which is not that attractive in color, I don't think, with its light wood and its white. They need to make a black Nifty case. If you're listening,
kind of medical white, isn't it?
Audio.
It has reminiscence of some kind of hospital equipment.
Yeah, I don't like the sound.
Make a black,
wipe clean.
Make
surface.
a black Nifty case, because the product is amazing. And then what was I going to say? Then you've got it. You've got it there. You've got all your stuff. Pardon?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So I was just saying, orange, brown, and cream Nifty case, I think, would be nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Really, like 1970s.
Love it.
Kitchenware.
Why ever not? I should probably take a quick break here. I should probably just take a quick break. We'll be back just after this. Native Instruments Modular Icons. Vintage modular synth sounds from iconic artists and instruments. Made in collaboration with the Bob Moog Foundation. Part of the Play series, great sounding presets and real-time control.
Modular Icons was built from the real thing. Rare modular synths that shape the sound of electronic music. Everything was sampled directly from vintage Moog, Buchla, ARP, and more, captured in detail, one knob turn at a time. You get the warmth and unpredictability of analog with the freedom of modern tools.
The modulars themselves are so expansive, but when you are providing 10 or 12 different incredible modulars, people really have this immense palette to explore and to shape in their own way, to create in their own way.
Over 60% of the proceeds go to supporting the Bob Moog Foundation. Yeah, nice. Okay, I'm just trying to think where to go next. We've got, because we're not going to get it all in. So
L6, gotta be L6.
L6. Okay, all right, we'll go L6 then. Let's see. I think I did put this in. I did tease this. Let me see if I can find it. L6 Max. Okay, if I press this button, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen because. Okay, I'll have to do that. Then I do this. Then I think it works. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, well let's go here. I'll just go to. It's a Velv. Oh, let's do that because I can't load bloody web pages because it thinks I'm a bot. Zoom L6 Max just announced. Here we go. The link's gone into the show notes anyway. So Zoom L6 Max announced literally half an hour before the show. I forget who it was who pointed it out in the chat. It might have been Wagyu or maybe somebody else. But as we know, I've been wrestling with my L6. Me and Gaz were really excited when these came out. This is the Zoom L6. Which was a sort of very compact interface and mixer. They brought out the L6 Max, which adds 2 extra channels of mics, also adds a mix bus, but most importantly adds a mix minus on the USB return, which has always been a problem because when I use it for this show, I have to do some software routing, which is a bit of a pain, and it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Hopefully this will solve everything. This is now, I think it's going to be 385 or 395 in the UK, so it's about 30% more than the original. 12-track multi-track recording, sound pads. I mean, it's interesting. Gaz is most excited about this.
I am.
If you listen to the pre-show, it was like Tigger had entered the room with an L6 on his mind. L6 Max.
Oh, yeah.
But this is good.
I mean, yeah, it is because for me, the L6 is like I've been putting this live rig together now over the last couple of years, and in the last few months, it's really getting amazing now, and the L6 sits right in the middle of this rig, and it's superb. The form factor is actually a really, really good product. But there's a couple of really fatal flaws with it. One of which is the fact that they kind of went in on the advertising on the L6 originally about it being Eurorack compatible, and even showing it with Eurorack adapter, so you can actually put it in your rack. I don't know if those have ever shipped those adapters. Maybe they have. I've never seen them. But when it comes to it, only 2 of the channels can actually accept the full range of modular. So if you just sort of plugged oscillators in, you could do that into channels 1 and 2, but you couldn't in the others. They clipped. I used it on the original on the first few mutable challenges, and it kept becoming a problem of kind of just clipping on the inputs. So now with this, the L6 Max, there's 20 dB pad switches on all the line inputs.
Ah, nice.
Which is just right. So, I mean, I think that now makes it an absolutely brilliant module for that, for using, if you're using things like Eurorack. But also, I think, like in my case, it's a combination. I'm using the Paulee synth and the Torso Electronics S4, which are very much line level devices. So you can now bring in your line level and your Eurorack levels, however you wish. There's a little built-in recorder on the L6, as we all know about, and when you press record, it will record every channel, and you can't turn off which channels it is. It will just record all the channels, and that's actually really good. It's actually incredible, really, because you don't have to worry about things. You can just delete the empty channels later. Sometimes I found something out, actually. This is just a little aside. Anyone who's using the current L6, the sound pads, you can record into those sound pads. So you press record, hold your finger on record, and then hit 1, 2, 3, or 4.
That.
Oh, yeah.
That's
And then it's brilliant. If you want to do a stereo recording and not have to go through the rigmarole of it generating a folder, recording loads of empty tracks, it'll just record everything, whether you're using them or not. This way, when you record into the sound pad, it'll just record a stereo mix. And what's also cool is it'll just keep recording them stacked and time stamped. So if you record into sort of slot 1, you can keep recording slot 1. This one, I was going to say, you can now navigate because it's got a little display. So that thing, although I'm saying for the L6, if you have got one, that little tip I was saying is, super useful. But of course, this one now, that's not a problem at all. You can now record and do things sort of directly on the unit itself. But the other big one for me is the fact that you can create a submix, a stereo submix. And that was the massive Achilles heel is on the L6 is that you cannot do a stereo send. You've got 2 auxiliaries. It would be amazing if Zoom would just be able to do a way of linking aux 1 and 2 as a left and right send.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of our initial problems, as regards that, because I wanted mix minus, and we just assumed all of this stuff could be done in firmware. But obviously, maybe this was pre-planned, maybe it couldn't, so that's why they had to release this thing. Maybe that's
this fixes. But this fixes the fundamental flaws. I think I'll get one. It still probably has the headphone post master. I don't imagine that would change. I couldn't see anything about that. That's another of the flaws. That idea that the front of house, you can turn front of house down and listen to your headphones. For live, it's kind of crucial, isn't it? You're all right, and then you then feed into front of house. I don't think you can do that. So I think maybe. I mean, I suppose you could if you used the submix.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, we think about this as like a Swiss Army knife. I mean, for many people, the cool thing about this, and I don't know who's got one or has used one, it's just really useful because I use it for shooting video stuff where I can record a mic, I can record the USB output of I do the decent sample videos, I could just record it back in and back out. Apart from the mix minus thing, which is a nightmare, but it's really, really useful because it's an audio interface at the same time as being a recorder, which is a key key thing. And this was the main reason why we all went for PodTrack P4s when we're using for our live rigs, because it's a recorder at the same time as being a mixer.
That makes sense.
So your mix goes out to the USB. Plus, you could record to SD, which for us, in a live set when we're doing show coverages, you might have seen us with a sort of one Velcro to the top of our phone rigs. That's why this is a bit too big for that, but that's the principle, and this makes it a massive difference. I know, Robin, did you ever look at the L6? I mean, it's the sort of thing I'd imagine as a jammer, you might find it useful.
Well, I saw it in Gaz's rack at Synth East. He was always bashing away on it. Keeping things going. It was very lively, and very in the moment. Yeah, and it's totally. I mean, it's exactly the sort of thing you need in that situation because so many mixers come with this baggage of a whole depth of knobs that you don't really want to be using in a live situation necessarily, unless that's your only job. But if you're performing, you just want to be able to get stuff mixed out through a little system that you can turn things up and turn things down and turn things on and turn things off without any of the hassle. And the fact that it's got a recorder built in is pretty amazing, really, because I'm forever having to reach across a room to enable something with my mouse when I'm over there trying to do the thing. If I could just record where I was, that would make my life a lot simpler, which reminds me of the ALM stem recorder recent release. I don't know if you saw that from Busy Circuits. Another phenomenal sort of idea that you can just loop everything through it and it will just record 8 tracks of stuff directly within your Euro rack.
That's interesting. That sounds interesting.
Great little thing. But this, perfect. Yeah. Awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, I don't know, Paulie, is it something... I mean, we were talking about the MOTU as being a thing. Is this the sort of thing that would also appeal? I mean, for live stuff, it's the sort of thing you could just throw into your rig And then when you come
Yes.
away, particularly if you're a content creator and you're performing, it's like, well, there's my performance. I can use that as the basis.
Yes.
I can release it. I can do stuff with it. You know, that's the sort of idea, really. It's a utility.
That's
in
it,
many ways.
and chuck it in a bag, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I think it even runs on batteries, which is
Yes.
phenomenal
MIDI as well.
for
It's also
absolutely
got
great.
It's got two USB
Sorry?
ports. It's got two USB
Yeah.
ports, so you can power it with one USB port and have the other one connected. So to kind of break that noise.
Although I have to say, the one on the top is very easily popped off. So yeah,
Right.
sorry for that.
It's got
USB-C.
2 lots of headphones as well, which is cool. If you're a moody
the new one.
synth pop duo, you can both have your headphones and stare at the crowd and not talk, which is
That's the
fantastic,
sub-
and hear everything.
That is the sub output though, so you would lose your own one and only stereo kind of external sound.
Oh, okay.
okay. There
I
we go.
understand. But
actually
the
can't quite see-
unlimited overdubbing sounds cool, with a dedicated bounce track,
Can you
freeing
loop
up
on it as
additional
well?
channels to keep adding layers. If the bounce doesn't hit the mark, undo it and try again.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
you can undo your bounce. I can't see anything about looping, but that's brilliant. If you can, I'm thinking of all sorts of little use cases of this. Certainly for solo as well. You could record something in bounce it, layer it up, do something again. I don't know how you'd go back. Whether there's like a MIDI command to
Must be
to
a
loop
buffer,
it back
I'd imagine.
around, but-
What I want to
Yeah.
see is, it'd be great if you could. I mean, this is, but again, it's so good. Wouldn't it be great if you could get it to just loop and then overdub? Because I mean, when I'm doing my sort
Yes.
of things at the end of the show, it's like, oh, I've done this great riff on the. In this case, it was the Dreadbox Artemis, the sequencer thing at the end. I really liked, and I thought, I'd really like to just be able to pop some chords over that. But in the video setup, it'd be like, right, now I've got to take this all apart, go and get the loop recorder, go and do this, then
Yes.
and then multi-track the video, and it was just like, oh yeah, no, I'm not going to do that, so I didn't. But I mean, this is the sort of thing that could be very useful. Yeah, so I've already put a request in to have a look at it, because
Amazing.
I think this could be the thing. In the same way that the black box and the blue box became something that everybody had, I guess bento box now as
Sure.
well. This is a
Which
similar
I've
sort of
got.
thing, but it's yes, Paulie's got the bento box there, which we're going to take a look at. Yeah,
So I'm gonna
but
take
yeah.
a look at it soon.
interesting.
But yeah,
Gosh,
definitely.
we have actually. We've got to 4 o'clock. I'm just thinking if there were so many other topics. Maybe I'll save them for next week. I mean, even though there's now loads of news, has anybody got time?
Tone work. The tone work is worth mentioning just because it is.
No,
Yes.
because it's not been released yet, Gaz. It's not
but it's
officially
been-
released.
But even though it's been,
I
can't
tell
talk
you,
about it.
they must have put
I
a ton of
can't-
work into that name.
I can't comment on it because
You can't
I've
comment,
been
but it's been on a
directly
bunch of other things, so hasn't it? So I mean,
Sure.
okay,
Doesn't
That's not
exist,
how it
Gaz.
works. When you-
What are you talking
when
about?
you're in direct communication with a manufacturer, it doesn't work
Okay.
that way.
okay,
But
sorry.
yeah, 6
Yeah, it was
o'clock.
just-
6 o'clock is when there's going to be some news from them. So do check that out, and we'll be.
Oh yes, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. The only other thing I really like that
I wanna know
Pladesk
if you have
Electrisk. Did you see that, Robin? The Pladek thing.
I saw that too. It was great.
Did you?
What the heck
did I
is this
not include
now?
that in the- Okay.
No,
I'll
that
play
wasn't.
this
Was that
thing.
in the link?
It's a multi-effects,
This is a,
basically.
Stereo ROM, new 12
This
inch
is
HP,
the Eurorack offshoot of Pladask's Drown.
anti-simulation reverb module.
If you've seen my recent video on the stereo
Oh.
Drad, you'll know Pladask has a knack for taking familiar effects and breaking them into something far stranger. Think of this as the sister module, equally.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of interesting. But one of the
Nice.
reasons I posted this one was
Yeah.
because of the new GDPSR issues,
Yeah.
they're not shipping to the UK. Did you say they're not shipped to the EU? I think they must be made in the US. So now, and this is something that's
Okay.
going to affect everybody. I mean, it's just an interesting.
Love it, can't get
This
it.
did sound It did sound amazing, but we can't get it. So I
Yes.
suppose, in a way, it's a bit pointless. In a way, I don't know. But not pointless. I'm sure there are ways and means, but it's tricky. Peter Coit says there's a live premiere of the Tonverk right now, so maybe it's 5 o'clock. Maybe it's on.
Hey! Hooray!
Everyone's leaving.
I'm not in trouble anymore.
No, well, you're not in trouble, but this is the dance
Never
we do,
in
Robin,
trouble,
isn't it?
Gaz.
You know, if you're right, if you've been asked, can you please not say anything until after we've relaunched it, and you say yes, and then you sort of have to stick
Yeah,
by
then
that,
there's a whole bunch of
otherwise
videos
people
out
never
there
trust you.
in the next moment.
People never trust you. Yeah, exactly. I suppose so. But anyway, go check that out. But I guess we should finish the show up so you can go and watch the Tonverk video on Electron. Lovely. But guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks over in Bristol. And congratulations on the challenge.
Thanks. Just one quick thing. If you are coming to Bristronica Saturday and you haven't got tickets for the after party, the Rumbelows are playing in the canteen, which is next door to Elevator Sound. So we're playing at 10 p.m. So I'm just thinking it'd be really great for people who are coming over who've had a bit too much bleepery in a day. I want a bit of kind of raw.
I just want surf rock.
Surf rock.
Surf soul.
Yeah. Are you around Saturday night, Robin? Are you staying over?
I am, yeah. I wasn't planning on going to the after party. It's all a bit too much noise for me. So, yeah, you sound perfect. I will be there. I will be bopping at the front.
Yeah, amazing.
Excellent. And Paulie, I know you're going to be busy doing your preparation for the gig and stuff, but will we see you at Bristronica?
The stranger things have happened, haven't they? I might walk in.
Okay, all right.
Just
well,
with an aura of not knowing how I got there.
Mercurial sort of like, okay, maybe not. I like that.
That's it.
And Robin, of course, what's
Be
next
mysterious.
for you? What's coming up?
What's coming up?
You got
I am
reviews.
I do, but I'm also up to my eyeballs in Synth East preparation for February next year, because everything about that kind of goes live after Bristronica, because once Bristronica is done, then when we feel we can start talking about Synth East. So I'm up to my eyeballs on that. And I'm also trying to get this thing called Synth Picnic off the ground as well, which maybe I'll tell you about another time. But it's desperately exciting. Probably the best thing that's ever happened to the synthesizer world.
Are there sandwiches and cakes?
No. But there is finger food for electronic musicians.
Excellent.
Egg and cress.
That sounds interesting. Okay. Well, lovely to see you all, folks. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to the sponsors and all of that stuff. We'll see you next time. That was Sonic Talk 680. And I guess I can press the right button and we can end the show. Cheers, folks. See you later. Bye-bye.